right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our now annual holiday special. I'm here with a special guest, I guess I could say, my lovely father, Jim Skach. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
All right. So we're here to remind everyone that, gaming family is still family around the holiday times, and we like to check in and see how everyone's doing. And since I no longer live at home, this is the perfect chance to check in with my father and make sure he's not getting into too much trouble without me there.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I can see the stack of books and I'm already worried. So, Dad, how have you been with me being gone?
Good. We should stop and take a moment and everybody send their love out to Jess.
Yes.
Make sure and hope she gets well soon and doesn't
Much love.
have too much longer in her stay. Because she is part of the family, and that's kind of how we're starting this thing off. Is you started this, actually. I think it was your idea years ago. That this family is our gaming family, and you've known most of these people probably half your life.
Over at this point, I believe I met
Yeah.
everyone when I was 9. So it's been
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. So I did start this the first time I left home one successfully.
So, thank you to all of you who had to put up with her when she was 9 and 10, and still learning her way around a convention game. So the thing we were going to talk about tonight is something that came up. I'm trying to think. I think it was during the goodies. Michael Curtis actually introduced me as the person who came up with SIGPUP. SIGPUP was a funny idea. That stands for the Society to Increase the Gamer Population Using Procreation. And
1 for 2 ain't bad.
and hey, yeah, well, Cutter Still Games is a different kind of gamer. He's a computer gamer, but this Haley and Connor were the first victims of this, because when I came back from the first GaryCon, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know of any DCC people that were there. I mean, this is pre-DCC, it was 2009. So, but I came back from GaryCon, the first one, and there were only about 125 of us there. And it really, that was the thing that rekindled me into playing again, and particularly in kind of a, I don't want to get into a political war about this, but kind of the old school way, which is, the one of the first games I played there was a gentleman who's become a dear friend of mine, Dave Temperato, who basically ran us through an OD&D game without any books. He knows the rules so inside and out. He just ran the game, and it was fantastic. We were doing all kinds of different stuff that I would have never thought to do, even in AD&D, because it was just so open-ended, and it kind of rekindled that feeling in me that I had when I was 11. And not too long after that, I got the kids involved, and we actually played third edition.
We can be honest about how the kids' involvement started. Gary
Sure.
Khan's hotel had a pool.
Yeah, GaryCon 2 is when they came up to just go swimming.
So he did the bait and switch, like it's the middle of winter in the Midwest and you can go swimming, and now you're gaming.
So the idea of SIGPUP is just that, at that time in 2009 and 2010, people were talking about the death of the game. The D20 era bubble had burst, and they were talking about, all the old gamers are dying off. Now at that time, it's what, 10, 11, 12 years ago. So I was a little bit younger. But I knew they were talking about me. The beard was already, I didn't have a beard, but my hair was already going gray. And the idea that we wouldn't have the next generation started to bother me a little bit. And so I decided that I would try and do with my kids what my brother inadvertently had done with me by giving me the Holmes Blue Box when he didn't want it anymore, which is get them involved in gaming and see what happens. So that led to them. Then the 2010 was the pool issue at GaryCon. We had already started playing a little bit at home by then, actual tabletop games, not just games we were making up on the fly with her My Little Ponies versus Connor's Army Men.
I'd like to point out My Little Ponies won every time.
Yeah, well,
Magic wins. Okay.
And so the idea was to kind of train them in not necessarily the game, any specific game, but how to be a part of the community in a way that you weren't going to be annoying at the table. All of us have, everybody on this cast is judged before in various ways, in various games, and when you get a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old at the table, it can be tough sometimes. It's challenging to keep their attention and so on and so forth. So I took it upon myself to just basically try and figure out how to train, what the rules of gaming were. And it was, don't touch other people's dice, don't touch things on the table that aren't yours, take a shower before you game. It was
Don't interrupt
all,
if it's not your turn.
and so that's the genesis of SIGPUP. And over the years, people, I mean, I even had a conversation with Joseph one time at I want to say 2015, maybe Gen Con, about how to market or talk to the parents, how what a set might look like for parents and so forth, because it is important to get the kids into gaming now, even if it's games you don't like. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of anything after 3rd edition, and I'm not a great fan of that, but it doesn't matter. That's probably the biggest thing to get over right off the bat, is that your preferences aren't going to be your kids' preferences. So I just got I don't know if I'd use the term lucky that Haley loves DCC so much.
I could explain what happened and why I love it so much. One of the things when you're a kid that you just love is when you're treated like an equal and an adult. Having that feeling of people not looking at you like, oh, and now here's a kid and we're gonna baby talk and everything's dumbed down. Being treated like an equal was such a eye-opening experience. And that's one of the reasons I love coming back, is because everyone was so welcoming and so accepting of a child, that it wasn't this feeling of being ostracized or looked down on, that you felt very welcome. And that's one of the things that kind of kept me coming back. And then eventually it developed into a love for the game, and the love for the people stuck, and here we are.
So I would finish just by saying, before I turn it over to the Prince of Darkness, who is the son of the evil overlord, the couple of tips that I would give, and the first is what Haley just said. Yeah, treat your kids as adult, train them so that other people can treat them like adults, because they will be acting like adults at the table. If you get them into the good habits, they will play. I'm not actually a huge fan of some of the games that kind of make it more stuffed animal-y, that kind of stuff. I think one of the thing about kids is they want to play the same game you're playing. And actually, as I was thinking about this today, I actually thought I need to talk to Joseph, because what we really should have is a DCC setting that's just slightly less crazy, and adult, that we could market to kids, to say, hey, this is a setting that's a little more amenable to, say, 7, 8, 9-year-olds, because once they hit 10 in this world, they've got the internet and they know everything there is. So yeah, that would be probably the big thing, is to teach your kids how to be a good participant at the table, and then the people around them will be almost instinctually will treat them as adults at the table, and that will just get the ball rolling, and then it all just kind of snowballs on itself. And then you end up with a daughter who's doing holiday casts for a game publisher.
I will say the bloodlust is genetic. You can't always train that into them. That comes straight through the genes.
So I would just say Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy New Year. Whatever you celebrate this time of year, I think we're all in the position where this is the darkest time, and then come January 1st, it's a new year, and we all get to start over. And so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be good to your kids, and they will end up pushing you into doing things like this.
All right, and we will be back with our next guest. All right, and speaking of children in gaming, we are blessed with one of them right now. Welcome the Dark Master himself. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
All right, I'm assuming they're going to say good in the chat.
You want to tell them what your name is, buddy? Say what your name is. His name is Pierce. And what we just learned is if we move, the camera follows us.
Well, hi, Pierce. I will say I have a very important question for you. Santa would like to know what you want for Christmas this year.
Do you want to say what you want for Christmas?
A crown?
A crown?
What else, buddy? What else do you want?
Dad, have to tell me.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Say.
More Hot Wheels?
Hot Wheels, wow.
And you want
More Marvel?
That's a good list. I like the crown. I think it would look very good on you.
pajamas?
Mario pajama?
How about
Nice.
how about a kitten, Pierce?
Don't give him ideas. Well, the other day he asked my wife for a baby brother, and she said no, but what about a goldfish? And he said yes. So
Okay, so I see.
You want a goldfish?
I still want to go fish.
I see he's good at negotiating. He knew if he opened with goldfish, that was going to be a no. So he went high with baby brother and then ended up with goldfish.
Yeah. You think you're gonna get
Awesome.
goldfish? Have you been a good boy? Normally he is like chatty Cathy, but I think
It's that post-food slumber, after we all eat, especially this time of year with all the great meals we're having, it's that slumber that sits in.
So Chrissy, tell us what you did at school today. What did you do at school today? Did you play with Kellen or Emmett? Is this really funny? Are you getting a lot of attention? All right.
He's
Okay,
doing
so
great. I think he should host next year, honestly.
You want to be a TV host, buddy? All right, so I will say I like Jim's idea. Oh, you want your iPad? Okay, well, you got it. Why don't you say hi to everybody? Say hi, my name is Pierce. I think I heard this saying once is you get the kind of kid you were. So
Yeah, my dad has said that a lot with my brother, that grandpa is laughing hysterically.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so Jim, I agree with your suggestion on like a slightly, less human sacrifice version of DCC. Like, I'm actually my 10-year-old. We're starting to put together a group. We're going to start playing in like a couple of weeks or early next year. And like I keep thinking I need a version that's a lot, shorter, easier to digest for younger kids, and a little less likely to offend the parents. Okay, you can go play. I think your work here is done.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. You can go watch that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yes, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think a lot of times I forget that a lot of DCC is not child appropriate, and maybe I'll shift some of my writing that I've been doing in my notebook of nightmare horrors to maybe introduce to some younger audiences.
I feel like in one of your early GaryCon games, wasn't there the story around how you like snookered some other player and threw him out of a spaceship or something?
I did in my first ever convention game murder another player.
Okay, I feel like
It was a logical chain of events. So we were on an iceberg. Leviathan flipped the iceberg. I got lucky, got my spear into the ice, and someone was sliding down and grabbed my foot. Harley, again, ever the champion of logic, your spear can't hold two people. It starts to break. What do? I shake off the boot. What else? What was I supposed to do? Okay, it's waterbow.
So that's the genetic part, right?
Yes, yeah, that is all genetics, because I've run a lot of games for kids, and usually they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, can I pull them up and get them a spear? And I'm like, oh, was I a bad person as a child? It starts to set in that maybe that isn't the instinct of children.
It is the instinct of children. They're pretty brutal sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I love about running games for kids is the ingenuity sometimes. Another later game, I was playing AD&D with some of my dad's friends, the Franks. bunch of fellow kids and we were trying to burn a door down, but we didn't have fuel. What we did have were goblins. So I suggested that we light some goblins on fire to use. And that apparently, again, is not a normal suggestion. I'm slowly learning that maybe it is the genetic side of things that did that to me.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But again, yeah, kids in gaming, their ingenuity is endless. And that's, you know, I have to start thinking about maybe targeting some of my stuff to kids, since that is where I started. And everyone was kind of welcome me. I should return the favor.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn on his iPad. Then I have some Christmas presents for the gamers out there. Piercy, what are you watching? All right, hold on. Hold on. So some of you guys will get these in the mail in a month and a half, 2 months. I have here some printer proofs for Dying Earth. So I was just going to show these off because like it will be a late Christmas present. But so Matt Hildebrandt, you know, we're all addicted to foil here. I got him a foil catalog from the printer and he kind of went crazy. So I'm going to hold these up and you can see if you can see the sparkliness.
Oh, wow.
He put sparkly foil on all of them, which is amazing. So every single title has a different layer of foil on the logo. I don't know if it shows up properly here, but they're really turning out awesome. You can see that in the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. So
Now, I should say I am working on my gaming culture. I started reading Lankmar, but I haven't quite hit Dying Earth yet. Can you give some of our less educated gamers some rundown on what that is?
yeah, eccentric wizards who hate each other and try to kill each other and steal each other's knowledge in the far distant future when the Earth is about to perish, I guess.
Sounds perfect for Connor. I might have to get him back in here for that.
And lots of big words. The guy who wrote it, Dan, it's just like every time I read anything by him, even though I have read it many times, every time I read anything by him, I end up writing down 5 or 10 more words that I've never encountered. Or I mean, clearly I encountered them, but I didn't remember them.
Yep. No, right now I'm working on Lovecraft. I have all the books on my shelf and my roommate will laugh. She'll see me reading and then I have my phone and I'm like, what is this word? I have no idea, but my vocabulary is wonderful now.
Yeah, these authors do that too.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us that early Christmas gift, I should say, letting us see those. I'm sure my father his mouth is watering with the excitement.
I'm sure he's got 6 copies on order.
6 would probably be an understatement. I'm a little worried about the mail. I'm not sure if my mom's watching, but things have been sent to my apartment to keep them under wraps.
Your dad out.
So I'm sure he's very excited.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, that's all I had to show you guys. I know there's many other guests, so I don't want to take up too much time.
Well, thank you so much for giving us your time. And thank you, Pierce, for your time. And I hope Santa gives you that crown and that fish.
Thanks.
Yep. All right, and we are back with our next very special guest, Julian Bernick, who is here to talk about, I believe, some super top secret stuff. I don't really know.
Okay, well, I'm going to deviate from I am going to talk about top secret stuff, but you guys made me so nostalgic. The kid thing has me, you don't remember this, Haley, but it made me put the memory to me of the first time that we met.
I'm scared. These stories scare me every time.
This is PG, you know, like this is not a weird, bad story or anything, but we were at GaryCon when it was in the old place, my first GaryCon. I think you were in the first GaryCon game I ever played in, run by this David Bono clown or somebody like that. It was Carnival of the Damned. And I come to this big table and I sit next to all the people at the table and I'm sitting next to this little girl. I mean, she's like, you know, maybe 10 or 12 or something. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, and to you, I'm just like one more old guy of this 17 old guys around the table. To me, I'm like, whoa, what happened? I'm sitting next to this little girl. So I'm playing now. I've played DCC before, and it's a funnel, and I got 4 characters, and we're looking at this thing, and there's this rope over a chasm or something. I forget the whole detail, but and I'm like, okay, little girl, if you need any help, let me know. I'll help you. I can, coach you or whatever. And you just kind of get this look. And I'm like, now look, my halfling is going to go hand over the thing because he's, light. So his weight will let him. And Haley's like, don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean don't do that? I've been doing this for 30 years or whatever, you know. That was a long time ago. It was only 30 years. I've been doing this for 30 years, you know. And she's like, no, you're gonna die. And yeah, sure enough, I went hand over hand, immediately electrocuted, and you know, the halfling falls into the jaws of doom or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna do whatever she tells me to do for the next 3 hours. And yeah, that I just kind of rode the wave, and it was good.
That was definitely pure luck on my end, but wow, yeah, I don't remember that, but that sounds very on par for me as a child. Just, yeah, no, you're gonna die. Just
You were right. I think they all died anyway. But anyway, so that's what so years of, you know, all my counseling and all my good advice as a 30-year veteran really helped you out in that game, as you could see. So
that goes to show, like I said, though, kids' ingenuity. It is something else.
Maybe it was just intuition. Maybe you were looking into Beatty's eyes and you could see that he had picked up the 20. He was getting ready to kill me. Was probably what it was. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that story. That was a nice one. I didn't remember.
That's a good one. I've seen you go murder on a lot of people, and your dad even worse. So, you know, since then. But anyway, okay, top secret stuff. Let's see, what do we got? I am allowed, by the way, so this is, you know, I'm mostly allowed to say this stuff. I am working on a new Dying Earth adventure, and I'm very excited about that. It's going to be, you know, a regular kind of full-length adventure, and it's going to have a time travel theme, which is, if you've read Rialto the Marvelous, you know that there's a lot of spelunking around in time. So it has different time travel elements to it. It's called Time Tempests at the Nameless Rose. And it starts in a bar, and you get to do stuff. You know, strange old men try to hire you in a bar, but this time they're maybe sending you around to carry out little time missions for them. And so anyway, I think this could be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Done a ton of play testing on it this year, and a special big thank you to Judge Hank and Judge Trevor Russ, who have helped me with play testing just a ton. So that's one fancy secret. And then
that sounds very exciting. I'm very excited to play that.
Oh, I'm super stoked. And then I'm working on, you know, the next year DCC tournament, and all I can say about that is it's so secret that I can't say anything about it, but I am working. I'm just doing, you know, I'm just like one of the giant 20-man jam or whatever, so it's not whatever. But anyway, I am working on it. There is a tournament next year.
There is a tournament, and that's
I know it comes
news.
as a giant surprise. And then let's see what else is out there. And then there's a big MCC project out there as well for next year, which has new MCC stuff. I don't really even know what I'm supposed to talk about. The name isn't final, but there's a lot of the Julians and the Poznels and the other mutants from long and from far and wide. Of course, Tim Snyder and all folks like that. So, yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that. And that's MCC, of course, is dear to my heart. So that's at least some of the fun stuff that we've got coming, hopefully in 2023. Yeah. And I have one more top secret until today announcement, which is on Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. We are going to do the semi-long awaited, I don't know how many people are long awaiting it, but a Spellburn holiday special with myself and Judge Jen and a cast of, you know, several hundred. So we will be doing that on 9 p.m. Eastern this coming Monday. And we have plans, if our little pilot works the way we have kind of figured it out, to kind of do a Twitch show and a podcast and kind of get Spellburn going on the regular again. So
that's awesome news.
Right. So everybody who is pretending to be excited about it, write a check for $100 to Julian M. Bernick.
We have it in the chat. We'll look.
Yeah, but I'll put my address in the chat, and when I hit 10,000, we will definitely get this thing off the ground. It's kind of an old school Kickstarter type thing, and you'll get it. You'll get an NFT, which is not frickin' there. That's what that stands for. Not frickin' there. So you'll get an NFT in the mail from me. I don't know. That's kind of it.
Don't say that's kind of it. Those are a lot of, you went through them pretty quick, but those are a lot of very exciting things coming up here. A lot to be excited about.
And most importantly, I'm running one of my first games like with beer and pizza on Sunday. And as I was waiting to get on the Zoom, I figured out that they're going to meet in a bar that's actually hosted in the mouth of a giant frog statue in a city that just consists of giant frog statues where all the houses and buildings are linked by rope ladders and everybody lives in the mouths of these giant frog statues. So
the creativity, I will never, like my brain can't just do that. Like I have to sit down and like be creative.
My brain couldn't do it for 3 days either. And then while I was, for some reason, when I was just waiting to get on the Zoom call, I was like, how about in the mouth of a giant frog statue? Or I don't know.
Well, I'm glad we could be some inspiration.
Yeah, well, apparently I felt like I was going to have to do it on Twitch today. So then I was like, okay, firing, the synapses were going, like, the stress came through or something.
Yeah, no, it works. That's stress induced. I've written some of my best papers that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are all very exciting things. I'll have to tune in on Monday. I think that is one of my days off. So I'll definitely tune in to see the return of Spellburn.
Yeah, we've got some cool guests lined up. I don't know what the heck we're going to do. It's all Judge Jen has taken care of almost all that detail, but we have several fun things in the mix there, and we want to kick this off hopefully monthly and kind of do it as a Twitch podcast thing. And we're pretty excited, and it's long overdue. So
yeah, it sounds awesome, and I can't wait to be there for when it kicks back.
Yeah, so get those checks in, folks.
You heard him. He's got it in the chats. Who was excited?
Get the checks.
All right, and on that note, we will move on to our next
and we want to say hi, Jess. Best wishes. Yes. Feel better soon.
All right, and we are back with our very next guest, the lovely Bob Brinkman. Hello.
Hey, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, just dandy. Finals are done, so I am as relaxed as I've been in the last 6 months.
I got to thinking like everyone else. So I met you at GaryCon 6. And that was when we were playing in Mike's, the first Phantasmagoria and the second Phantasmagoria. And I learned very quickly to just stay out of your way. That was how my dwarf stayed alive, because arrows would fly off and they would hit something. And I just made sure they weren't me.
I always tell people firing into melee is not necessarily a bad thing. And I just, that's a reminder. It has consequences, but only if you miss. Yeah, so that is, hearing all these stories makes me feel old, and I can't even say that because I'm getting looks already. So yeah, these stories it is definitely taking me back to a time when my problems were so small and gaming was.
And so were you.
Yeah, I was. I was, needed a booster seat in some of those convention tables. But the good old days. The good old days. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to ask you specifically about Sanctum Sanctorum, and I have not been able to participate quite yet. I know my schedule has been a nightmare and I'm awful at answering emails, but I wanted to ask you how that is going and what you guys have coming up.
Well, we have a lot coming up. Just on Tuesday is our next Sanctum Sanctorum reading room show. We're covering Burn Witch Burn. And then starting in January, the main show, the Sanctum Sanctorum, is relaunching. Mark has finally returned from his sojourn under the Red Sun. Jen is done with most of her editing. I have completed a large chunk of Caverns of Thracia, so we have time to start committing to the shows. So
That's
we are going to be
awesome.
doing the regular Sanctum Secorum show is going to be every second Tuesday, and the Sanctum Reading Room is going to continue on we're moving it from the third to the fourth Tuesdays of the month. We're bringing back the companion zine, the free PDF. It's going to be quarterly so that we have a little bit more time and we're not quite as under the gun on that. We've got some folks coming on board that are going to be helping us out with that. So I mean, right off the bat, we're come January, it's going to be really, really busy. But on later tonight, we're announcing the winners for our big book giveaway for the holiday. It's like, I don't know, it broke my mailing scale. It's somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds of books.
That is one lucky person.
And our overseas winner is getting a copy of the Shattered Grimoire. So they're getting a DCC spellbook. It'll be the first one to make it outside the US.
That's awesome.
It's number 9 out of 10. And then we've got more giveaways coming up on the show on Tuesday. So yeah, we've been busy. Not been sitting idle. Yeah.
You hear that, DCC community folks, crowd? We have so many good things starting and coming again this year. Be excited.
And then we interviewed Michael Moorcock, of course, earlier this year.
Yeah.
And it went well. He had a lot of fun. And so sometime after the first of the year, I'm going to be talking to them, and we hope to have him on again sometime next year.
That's incredible. Of course he had fun. I mean, have you met you guys? Come on. That's incredible. I'm really excited to hear about all of these things to come.
Well, we have to keep doing these shows, and we have to keep doing these giveaways. Otherwise, the prize closet of mystery rapidly becomes the guest bedroom of mystery, and then finally the Bob's divorced and has his own apartment of mystery. So I need to keep this stuff moving.
That's fair. I'm wondering how my dad keeps all his stuff without any of these things happening.
You notice you don't live at home anymore, right? You think you have a room?
That's true. My room, every time I come back, there's new stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't have a room anymore. You just periodically, visit the DCC annex.
Occasionally, I sleep in the library.
If you're lucky, your father will name it for you. It will be the My Kid DCC annex.
Yeah, the one of the children library thing. Well, that's very exciting. I'm glad to hear all that. It sounds like I'm going to have a lot to keep up with this next year.
Yeah, and I'm going to be running 2 different Skull and Crossbones Classics adventures for Gary Con this year. One is the original kind of introductory adventure, The Final Voyage of the Golden Winger, and I'm going to be running a new one called Dancing the Hempen Jig.
So it sounds like I'm going to have to be fighting people for some game tickets this year.
No, they're just, people aren't going to have to remember not to turn their back on you, because as you said earlier, you didn't kill a character in that game. You killed a player in that game.
Did that slip up again? That happens a lot. I'm trying to work on that. Freudian slip.
Plausible deniability.
I'm not saying that, people need to watch out, but if you have a ticket. On that wonderful, lovely, wonderful note, we will move on, and I will state on the record, I will not be committing any murders that I can be traced to this year.
That you can be traced to. Happy holidays, everybody.
All right, and we are back with our next lovely guest, David Beatty, some might say the Southern Tim Deschene.
Hey everybody, thanks for asking me to come, Miss Skach.
Of course, it's so good to see you again. I feel like I never get to see you these days.
Yeah, I know last year was a botch with all the cons, but hopefully in 2023 you'll start seeing my face again.
Good. Who else am I gonna run into in the bar when I'm looking for my father and I am holding guacamole for some unknown reason?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. For those of you who don't know, Haley picked up some guacamole for her father, Jim, who was off campus from Gary Con running a game. What was the game,
I have
Jim?
no clue. I have no clue.
And so I don't remember the text I sent Jim, but the joke was that everybody around us at Lake Geneva was taking a picture with his guacamole. And
Yep.
I just remember very mean text from Jim to you saying, you stay away from Beatty, like I'm some
Yep.
kind of creepy sketch bag or something, but it was
Oh
kind of
Lord. Yeah, those were the fun days, getting lost in the bar when I was still couldn't see over everyone's shoulders and I was just, oh. But I did want to ask you about a new very large book that I think weighs more than I do at this current stage. Tell us about Weird Frontiers and that whole endeavor.
well, Weird Frontiers was a Kickstarter that I did after running the game for a few years, I think, at local cons, and everybody seemed to dig it. So I went ahead with it, and we did the Kickstarter, which was great. Had some speed bumps to getting it out, but finally everything is out, and I think just about everybody that I know of has got the book, so that's great. And seems like everybody likes it, but yes, it is. Look at that beautiful dice bag. You can tell you've got panache. But so it's out, and Goodman's already sold out of the books he got. So I'm actually, Goodman's cam is like following him around the room. So I see you. Uh, so hopefully we'll have some extras to send to him before Christmas or right at or about. And then maybe 2023 we'll look at doing a second print if folks seem to want it. So.
Well, it sounds like they do. I know you know someone who will buy it. He's in one of those boxes right down there.
Jim's obligated to me because otherwise I'd tell everybody he drinks chocolate chip mint whiskey with me at cons. Don't you turn away. Right, don't you turn away. Oh wait, so you're looking for the bottle?
I did just want to highlight. I don't know if you can see it on my tiny little camera.
Oh yeah.
They're skulls, people. This is quality product.
Yeah, I'm happy with everything and how things turned out. So it's kind of a toss of the dice when you don't know. You know, Goodman's an old pro at this, and I'm just a fireman that squirts water. Decided to jump in the deep end quick, so I got really lucky, and I had a lot of. Oh, look at there! There it is. But I had a lot of help from most of the folks that are on this screen with me. So I appreciate you guys for all that you did for me.
Yeah, it was a very, I remember calling my dad the second I got the text from you that it had been delivered. I was like, Dad, you better show me what's in that box. Just because I'm not home doesn't mean you can leave me out of these things.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you about, I know there's been a lot of you're the firefighter who saves kittens who also manages to publish. And I wanted to talk to you more about that, doing it all for the entire earth.
Yeah, I kind of fell in with a few rescues luckily around here and just decided, you know, if I loved cats, I needed to help out where I could. So I've been doing this charity raffle for several years, which most of you are probably familiar with. And the donations will go to a local rescue here where the lady I know, just like, I think this year she's over 100 kittens that she's took off the street and saved. And some of those stories would just, I've been in traffic, you know, it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
She's done a lot. This year I did the bundle of holding, and I haven't really made any announcements about that. But it ended up making, I think, right around $2,000 for her. So I threw in another 1,500 on that. And San Julian is this artist. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him or not, but I had him commissioned to do a sketch, kind of cat theme that should be in the mail that I probably will do. If it arrives relatively soon, we'll do a raffle for that original piece of art from San Julian. And if not, it may be like a Valentine's Day thing or something. So
that's
but
awesome.
Yeah, cats are cool, and everybody should have one. If you don't,
if anyone is in the business of looking for a kitten, you know who to call.
Yeah.
Call the right people.
If Deschene can have a kitten, everybody else should have a kitten.
Exactly. I keep trying to tell my roommate that, but she does not want to agree with me. Just because her boyfriend's allergic. I don't know. why that's
That's a sign that he needs to hit the road.
oh gosh. Yeah. So if anyone is in need of a kitten, get it from a good place. Contact Beatty, he'll direct you in the right direction because there are a lot of little guys that need help out there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, and I'm so glad I got to hear about Weird Frontiers from you yourself. I'm so glad I finally get to see you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will see you. I'm definitely going to be in attendance at GaryCon, so I'll see all you guys
Good.
there.
And I should say, it's my turn to tell a childhood story this time. One of the first, Julian told the story of Carnival of the Damned, which I played with the wonderful Mr. Beatty in one of my first games. And I should say, the first ever tournament I ran was, I was 14, and you know how 14-year-olds like to bite off more than they can chew. I ran a full tournament by myself of Carnival of the Damned because I loved it so much. So thank you for inspiring me.
You rocked it too. I'm not just saying it. You did. You rocked it.
That was the first thing I ever ran. So you inspired me to run games instead of just playing in them. Big hugs, big hugs. So I do owe you that. So thank you, sir, for that. And that is my childhood story that I will tell. All right.
Thanks for having me with everybody. And I hope everyone that's on the full screens I'm looking at and everybody that's watching the show has an awesome, awesome holiday.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see you soon. All right, and we are back with our next guest, Tim Deschene, the Northern David Beatty. Hello, Tim. How are you doing?
Hi, Haley. How are you?
I'm just dandy. Like I said, finals over, stress gone.
Stress is bad, so I'm glad it's gone.
Yeah. Well, stress is only bad if you make it bad, but I won't go into psychology right now.
I make it bad, so yes.
Yeah, that is the problem. How have you been doing, Mr. Deschene?
I've been doing very well, thank you. Yeah, I've been working at the middle school and having a great time with that, and just helping 8th graders through their 8th grade problems. And having
like I said, 14-year-olds like to bite off more than they can chew.
Yeah, well, I was a deviant 8th grader myself at one point. So, but the cool thing is I should be starting up a gaming club soon. So
that's awesome.
I will have to, I'm going to run DCC, but you know, like we were talking about before, I'll probably hide the core books for a while and maybe not get into the gorier aspects of Spellburn.
Yeah, take it easy on them at first. Yeah, that's awesome. I did see you got pied in the face the other day.
I did. That was for, so I coached the middle school girls soccer team, and they asked coaches for, you know, volunteers from the coaches who would be willing to get pied in the face, and I'm like, the kids will love it, sure. And then it got really old fast, but hey.
Yeah, the first 3 are funny. The 4th one, it starts to get old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun though. I did hear that you were working on something that Julian briefly mentioned.
Yes. So I've been shadowing Terry to maybe one day take the tournament reins from him. So he can start working on other things. So I'm kind of in training to be the tournament coordinator, and I'm also going to be helping to write for this current tournament, which I've been told I can tell at least the milieu in which it takes place, and that is Dying Earth. So like all of our tournaments, you don't have to know the Dying Earth rules, because hey, I don't know the Dying Earth rules all that well. But you know, like anything else, sign up, have a, you know, it helps to have a little bit of an idea on how DCC runs in general, right? Like if you're a complete noob, but we've had complete noobs and they've had a great time too. So
they win every time. They win. I would love to. I've never won a tournament, and then noobs come in and win, and I'm not jealous, but it's not jealousy.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. First of all, I always love running a tournament, and I love being able to. It's kind of ruined running any other kind of convention adventure for me. Like, I mean, it's not the same as running like your home game, but if I'm going to run for, you know, in public with random people, the feeling of competition adds that layer of kind of like stress and a little suspense, you know, and then like
absolutely.
How my tournament ended last year at Gen Con with like the nat 24 on the D24 to backstab, Molon. Like, you can't. That just, it's insane. Like, it's cool when it happens in a regular game, but like when it's actually for something,
when there's something on the line, the feeling of that, like there's something on the line here.
Yeah, so it was that was awesome. So I love that. So now being able to, I'm also terrified of taking over, maybe possibly for Terry as the coordinator. But
I'm gonna make your life so hard. Every game, I'm gonna forget everything.
Yeah, but that's why I'm having this 1 year of, watching how he handles things and the coordination and the emails going back and forth and everyone planning which writers are going to be involved. And I'm also really psyched to write because I think my first official Goodman credit was for the Lankmar tournament, which I love. It's a tournament, but it's also an IP that I love, right? Like, it's like, I get to write for something that's Lankmar stamped, right?
Yeah.
And now if this becomes an actual published thing, I'm like, I have something that's in the Dying Earth, realm. And it's awesome because I think my favorite Appendix N story of all time is still Paul Anderson's A Broken Sword. But if I had to pick the one that really molded me as a judge and as a DM and GM, it would have been Dying Earth. It's the first thing I read that made blending sci-fi with fantasy cool, because I used to be like a purist, like no sci-fi in my fantasy. But then like after reading Dying Earth, I was like all about it. So I love it so much. It's been a joy to like go back and read all the stories just so I can get in that mood to write some stuff for it. That's kind of my big news. Did you ask Santa or Cesarcon anything DCC related for Christmas?
For Christmas this year, chaos, always chaos. The downfall of organized society, but they said those will take a few years to come to fruition. So I started it, it's the best, it's the best I can do.
All right.
Yeah, that's exciting though. When you told me the tournament, I was like, they are already working on the tournament.
Oh yeah, we start pretty far in advance. I mean, I think Jen's already having to plan it as far as like space, right? Like, so there's so many things that go into it because we take up so many tables. I mean, you saw how we were at Gen Con, and it's awesome. Like, I want to say last year's tournament was great. Like, the space was great for it. The players were great. We had a lot of new judges that.
Yeah, the atmosphere at that tournament felt so electric because there were so many tables in the stadium. It just felt very high pressure.
Yeah, I loved it. So yeah, there's like, I mean, I want to say Terry started. I mean, we're only at the point now where we're kind of like starting to ramp up and we're getting deadlines, but Terry's been sending emails for like the past 2 to 3 months, probably, like actually getting things. So almost as soon as the last one ended, we were like maybe a month off and then starting planning for the next one.
Yeah, you emailed me that and I was like, I really did not realize how much planning went into this because I get the email, way down the line, everything's already created. I just have to learn the parameters and then I'm set. I have to commend you all for the work that you put in for that because it is incredible what you guys do to get such a large event organized for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, I want to plug one thing because if you want to get yourself or your loved one a nice Christmas gift, you could go over to Kickstarter and get yourself a pledge for Planet X Games occurrence at Howling Crater for DCC and MCC. Levi had already originally written it for 5e, but now he's like, this is much more appropriate for DCC and MCC. So it looks awesome. It's got some great art. It's got super affordable pledge levels. And so I would say, go support that man.
Yeah. We support our family around here, everyone. You heard it. You need a Christmas gift for a gamer, you know where to go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. And I wish you the best of luck in taking those reins from Terry.
Thank you. And happy holidays to everybody out there who I haven't seen in a while or, I hope maybe never, but I love you all. And I hope you have a happy and safe holiday season.
All right, and we are back with our final, last but not least guest, Mr. Brendan LaSalle, the one-man con machine over here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays all around. What have you been up to? I did see some holiday special modules that seem to have your name on them.
Yeah, so this year, this year's holiday adventure is Kane the Monsters of Midwinter, which I'm really proud of. It is it's a second level adventure that takes place in Mike Curtis's amazing Shutter Mountain setting, and I'm obsessed with the Shutter Mountains, and it's like, well, it's where I want to retire, to the Shutter Mountains, and I'm really happy with it. It's fun. It has a scratch off component, so it's my first ever adventure with a scratch off component, which I'm pretty proud of. And I think it's hopefully, from what I've heard, people are having fun with it. The consistent feedback I've gotten is that they don't say it like this, but they say it's very challenging. So be careful out there, gamers. Play smart and keep your guard up.
Sounds like the perfect chance to kill other characters. I meant characters, not all right.
Absolutely.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I also know you are very heavily involved in road crew. So what has that been up to lately?
We had this was the 2022 was the very best year ever for the road crew. We added a whole bunch of programs. We started doing the adventures of the month, so we would sync everybody up at the same time. We had our first ever road crew game day, where road crews could come and GMs could come and actually be players for a change. A lot of the road crew GMs are just like myself, like 24/7 GMs who basically play like the ratio of games played to games ran is like 1 to 99 or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we try to put together a day where we can all get together and roll some dice, and we did it this year. It was so successful. We're already going to do it again next year, definitely, because it was so much fun.
Hopefully I can make that one.
Yeah. And then, of course, we also had Band of the Run, our first ever exclusive road crew adventure this year. So I was really proud of that. Terry blew that one up. It's so cool. It's so wild and such, I know somebody asked Santa Claus for a copy. Well, we're going to see. No.
We're going to have to see if
it's a marshmallow world in the winter. Haley promised me if I came on the show, I could sing. So
I did. That was part of the deal. It's in his contract. I can't.
I don't know if it will snow, but have a cup of cheer. I'm combining like 3 songs there because I don't know the lyrics.
It's impressive. This is a cover I'm going to need you to record so I can listen to it in the car. That way I can make it through Whamageddon. Just this album.
Yeah, just have me singing on a lute to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Well, look, I want to say first, Haley, thank you so much for organizing this and putting together our wonderful holiday special and giving us a chance to say happy holidays to all the fans and everybody showing up. I want to send a big shout out to Jess McDevitt. Jess, we love you. We're all rooting for you. We hope you're doing great. And sending everyone for a moment. I'm gonna ask, if you're watching this, everybody send Jess McDevitt healing vibes.
Healing vibes.
Healing vibes, big time. Boom. Because we miss you, and we all are just wishing for the absolute best for you, and and all of that.
Yes. Like we said, this community's family, and you are part of our family.
You are a huge part of our family, and we absolutely miss you. You know what I'm saying? And you as well. So everyone's telling, like, when I first met Haley's story. So sometimes it's confusing in my head because I'm very old, but I believe you played in the first ever, my first session ever at GaryCon, if I'm correct.
That might be true. I was a child. I don't remember.
You were. Yeah, I mean, you certainly were my first weekend there. First time I went. I didn't go until GaryCon. Like, you hit it before I did. I think my first one was GaryCon 3 or 4.
Oh, I barely beat you there. I think I was 2 or 3. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I think I was either 3 or 4. I don't recall, but I remember I drove there from Massachusetts, and that was fun.
Nice. Wow, that's definitely a hike.
Yeah, that was a never again. So, but I say that, but then I did it again. I've done it a couple of years. So, but I don't know. But you've been, you're a big part of my gaming family, and much love, and it's been an absolute fun journey to watch you like grow up, become uber gamer over all of these years. So big shout out, Haley. Big shout.
It has been a delight to grow up with you guys. I always joke that I can't. This is the reason I'm single. I have 40 fathers and uncles that I have to introduce him to. That's not happening. He's not going to survive. Not going to happen.
Aggressively avuncular, the whole bunch of us. We're just like, you know, but
yeah. So
no.
you guys are absolutely my family. I always say I was so lucky to be raised with you guys. Even
Cool.
if it was the family I get to see twice a year, it was the highlight of the
Absolutely.
family I get to see twice a year.
We're lucky. We're lucky to have you and have you be a part of our whole
You're
thing.
too kind. Don't blow my ego up, or my dad will have to deal with it.
So fair enough.
Oh,
So-
yes, this was an utter delight to get to see you and everyone, and
Yes.
catch up and hear
Yeah,
about the new stuff everyone's doing. It's
Hear
so
about
great.
new stuff, and you know, and we'll have even greater road crew stuff. But I do want to say one thing though. Okay, so we road crew this year, 2022, was so amazing, basically because we had our road crew advisory council who all got together. So like all of their ideas, all the great stuff we did this year, they were there. It was their ideas. So a big shout out to Sarah Brown, Corey Gockman, Christian. I'm gonna pronounce this carefully. Christian Ofsen, Ovsenik, that's so terrible. Ovsenik, I think it is. So help me there, right? And of course, I'm one of my main homies of life, Ed Stanek. Thank you all so much for all the great ideas and for being a support this year. And
Thank you all. Even though you couldn't be here in this box of people, we love you more than life, and I know
Yep.
most of you very well personally, and I send you happy holidays and warm regards.
Warm regards. Okay. So is there anything else you want to say before we sign out? Anything else you want to get to?
I think I think I said it all. I love you all. You're my family, and I appreciate you all so much. I think this show is my love letter to my family.
Aw. Well, thank you so much. And you know, if you're watching, don't forget it's a marshmallow world out there for Goodman Games. Gonna be the song in my head all day. But you know, but thank you so much and for putting all this together. And happy holidays, everybody. Stay safe and have fun. And you know, I don't know what else.
I'm gonna end it here with stay safe, stay healthy, stay warm, stay happy, and happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, whether it be pagan or Christmas or whatever.
It's the Christmas Puggle. The Christmas Puggle's making an appearance. Say hi, Bobby.
Puggle.
Say hi.
To your furry ones too, to the fur babies, happy holidays and much love to everyone. And yeah, I love you all. Goodbye.